Guys, it's Team Simply My At here, bringing you another card discussion. It's going to be about Starlight Road versus The Huge Revolution is Over.
Alright, what's up? We're going to talk about two cards that have pretty similar effects, but they're both really good cards, but some people like one of them over the other, and we're just going to talk about the pros and cons of each card and why would you run one over the other. So the first card is Starlight Road, and the other one is The Huge Revolution is Over.
So, if you watched the videos before, you know I run worms. This is my deck. These are my traps. I run 19 traps. Protecting against that heavy storm is crucial. Protecting against, even just a Mirror Force, Dark Hole, Torrential Tribute. These are seeing more play. These are very, very important cards if you value your monsters, I'll say. I mean, some decks, they're easy to replace, but in a deck like mine, I can't give up monsters, and especially, if you have a back row heavy deck, you need to seriously consider these if you haven't already. As I said before, this might be my favorite trap, besides Nebula, of course. And personally, I run Starlight, but what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to talk about what are the pros and cons of each one. So,
I mean, not even in just like a deck like yours, but in like a wind-up deck too, if you use all of your monsters to spam really hard and then you run into a Mirror Force or like a Torrential, I mean, having this just gives you a Stardust and protects all of your monsters, so that's really nice. So I like running this card in my wind-up deck as well. I mean, and this card, I mean, a lot of people have been running this at YCS Barcelona, and I mean, I saw a bunch of play at YCS Tacoma/Seattle too.
So we'll start with the the Huge Revolution is kind of a hidden gem. I feel like not a lot of people know about it that much, and so we're going to talk about. So what are the big benefits? First, we'll read it off. When a spell card, trap card, effect, monster's effect is activated that destroys 2 or more cards on the field, negate the activation and banish it. So let's talk about some of the pros. The first one, whatever happens, it's banished. So that's that's a good effect. I mean, it's less important for something like
Heavy Storm or Dark Hole.
No one cares if you
But I mean, if you play a card like Wind Up Zenmayo, activate its effect to destroy 2 cards, and they flip, Huge Revolution is over. This card is never coming back. It's just not coming back. I mean, you can't Pot of Avarice it, you can't do anything to bring it back. So that's really nice for monster effects to destroy a bunch of cards on the field. Black Rose, Judgment Dragon, use Huge Revolution is over, they're gone.
It's good.
It's good. It's good for banishing monsters.
Another is, because of the wording, with Starlight, it's when an effect is activated that would destroy 2 or more cards you control. Meanwhile, the Huge Revolution is if something will destroy 2 cards on the field. So if you each have 1 set monster and they Dark Hole, this will stop it. And the most interesting one is actually Scrap Dragon. Because Scrap Dragon, it destroys those 2 cards simultaneously. And if, because it's only destroying 1 card you control, so Starlight cannot negate it. But Huge Revolution, you just banish their Stardust. Or Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon. So that's, another, I mean, it's one of those ones that's not a huge benefit, but, because who plays Scrap Dragon anymore? We're in the Exceed era. But it's another benefit. And what I actually think, well, we'll get into another really important one is this. Because it does not have an effect that summons, this cannot be Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning is one of the most common outs to Starlight Road. So this, because it does not...
It doesn't special summon a monster upon resolution.
It cannot be...
You can't warning it at
the
end.
It's counter trap too.
Right.
Exactly. And that's the last thing, which I actually think might be the most important, is the fact that this is spell speed 3. This is a counter trap. Nothing can be chained to it. Except for Judgment.
Judgment's the only thing that'll stop it.
Right.
That's in use currently.
You can't, chain a compulse your opponent can't chain a compulse to save something in some weird event. Or I'll give an example that actually happened in locals. The person activated Torrential when I had 2 monsters, and I chained Starlight, and then he actually lanced one of my monsters. And because of that, Torrential would have only destroyed 1 of them, and so Starlight it missed its activation. And so because of that, Starlight fizzled, and the Torrential still happened, although I still saved, my Worm King, so that was fine with me, but it just goes to show you that there are a lot of more ways to play around Starlight Road than there are The Huge Revolution is Over. So, I mean, right now you have we have this list, Banish, Scrap Dragon, Solemn Warning, Counter Trap. This big list, and you think, well,
why do people run Starlight Road over this card?
One answer, because of Stardust Dragons.
we love our Stardust Dragons here.
Because I'll put it this way. So, if your opponent, let's say your opponent has their full backfield, and you Heavy Storm, and the Huge Revolution is over. You just won for one. They banished your Heavy Storm, and you got rid of their Huge Revolution is over. Nothing really happened, to be honest. You got rid of, a card, so then you're free to Dark Hole. There's no fear in playing against this. With Starlight Road, this can change the tide. You can win games. This can, maybe save you sometimes. This can save you and then let you win games.
Because if you play this card, you not only negate their Heavy Storm, but then if they play a Dark Hole, you can negate with the Stardust that you special summon.
Double
It's
protection.
like a double negation.
So important to note, because this does not properly special summon, you can only use the effect once. Once it goes to the graveyard, it can't resummon itself. But so you essentially get another negation for a turn, plus you now have a 2500 monster. So that is because even though, you have all these reasons why Huge Revolution should be better, the reason why Starlight sees more plays is just because of Stardust Dragon. It's big.
Close enough.
Stardust. So, I talked about that before, the fear aspect, I don't even have to have Starlight set, sometimes, if I set, 2, 3 back row, they think, well, what if he has Stardust? I mean, if they know that you're playing Huge Revolution, like I said, they don't fear it. There's no real downside. I mean, so you got your Heavy Storm banished, but, if they have this set, then Heavy Storm is pointless. So basically all Heavy does is this clears this off in case you need to use Mirror Force or Torrential. Well, with this, if they Heavy, now they have to get over this, and they can't use any destruction effects that would then be negated by this. So that's why, this is... If you're going to run one of these two cards, I would almost always run Starlight Road. Now this is the most important part, if you have Stardust Dragon.
Stardust Dragon is a pretty expensive card still. It's around $10 right now.
Probably about 10 to 15, yeah. So I mean, in my deck,
this is a quarter. This card is literally like a quarter.
And this is pretty cheap too. I mean,
that's pretty cheap too.
Yeah, this is like $2. So I would only, even in my heavy back row deck, I still only run 2. I feel like 3 clogs it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have 1 Stardust, you can run 1. I'd still probably run 2 Starlight though, just because you want your first. It's rare for you to get off both, so you just want to get that. But if you don't have any Stardust, then by every means run this card.
I would at least run one of these two if you have a heavy back row deck.
Yeah. But always I feel like this is one of the few times in these discussions where we're going to say, almost always you should run this one, because even though it can get warninged, even though it's not a counter, the benefit of getting that Stardust on the field, this can, single-handedly,
It changes the game. It absolutely turns the tide of the game around, and if you're down, this will bring you back into the game, unless, you're down by too much, but, this will turn the tide of the game almost every time.
So, let us know what you think. Comment below if you have any other points, if you
prefer this card.
If you insist this, say why, and we'll get into a
know.
nice discussion. And thanks for watching.
Patras here again. Thank you guys for checking out our video. Be sure to leave a comment down below for what we could do next time on this series, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content just like this one. And if you want to see the first episode of this series, be sure to click right here, and we'll have the video linked to it right there. Alright, thanks again. Until next time, see you guys.